You want to see something funny? Oh man, there's all sorts of stuff going on. Wow. Carnage. A lot of junk in that gearbox. I really hope this thing works. Sweet. Hey there, my name's Toby and welcome back to Off the Ship. So recently I bought a $600 milling machine used off Facebook Marketplace. You know, as Keith Fenner says, it is what it is and we're going to make it what it isn't. Well, today is that day. So you can see here I'm installing a vice stand with some concrete inserts that I hope will, serve as the machine pedestal. But after that, we'll build up a functioning mini mill large cable upgrade using a box of parts and no instructions whatsoever. And if that goes my way, then we're gonna install LittleMachineShop's Z-axis economy air spring kit with instructions, and then hopefully test out the little Franken-Mill. All right, let's get to it. So it all starts with the base here. Here's the saddle. So it looks like Y-axis, all right. We should have gibs as well. So it looks like that goes on the right side. I'll fit it too. That's what your little set screws and stuff are for. So next is this is the X axis, here's the Y axis. We may be at the point where we need to start taking apart the other machine. Wow, when you get these things side by side, the difference is startling. This LittleMachineShop casting is significantly larger. That's awesome. Get a lot more travel. So I need to swap this over here. Should work just fine. There we go. Tell me that's the same size. Four 4.7. All right, same size. That's good. Of course, I installed this. It's super smart. Always install your. It's a little pro tip for everybody here. Always install your keyway before you put anything else on the shaft. Dummy. I've got some whey oil for the lathe. And it's cold enough that I think this will be just fine. So I'm going to be a real animal and speed this up again. According to my calculations, that should have been fine, but something jammed up. Huh. It's just the nut. It's because I don't have the bearing on. And also is a prize, I put that on backwards. It's fetching up a little bit, which is not kinda, I don't know, maybe if I put the nut on there, it'll square it up some.
And these jam nuts, I think we jam against each other. Yeah, it's all right. We can mess with that later. All right, so interesting thing there, those set screws kind of hold that X-axis nut in place. So I'm assuming the Y-axis also has one. Let's check that out. And I would be assuming incorrectly. Looks like there's a bolt. It's our socket head cap screw, I suppose, but. Shift over to our new one. Center that up as best we can. So I'm just kind of holding it in the middle, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's holding it. Oh wait, what were we after? We were trying to figure out what was holding these ways on. So like the gib. Let's investigate that. Yep, there are some marks on these. So it looks like I'm gonna have to make those on this. Yeah, I guess it is what it is. Yep, look at that. Sweet. There are dimples. So I guess I'm just gonna set up the soft jaws. I don't know, 30 seconds. I think I need to go up on 3/16, capture the entire outside diameter of that. Boy, I don't know. Yeah, they didn't make a device to determine exactly how wide this needs to be. So we got 1.142. Yeah, should never have questioned myself. Maybe I shouldn't go to the full major diameter there. I don't know if this is normal. Maybe if there's a machine tool guy who knows all about this stuff, you can tell me, but I've never replaced gibs on anything, so I suppose it kind of makes sense. Like, you know, your tool, your machine is your machine, and so far as this goes, I think it's just pressing on it. Our old one didn't have much. Yeah, it didn't really have anything. So I think the clamping screw is just to put pressure on this. I don't think there needs to be a dimple. Let's see how much I messed this up. Sorry, I'm gonna block your view here for a moment. Seems to be in the right location. Look at that, sticks right with it. That's cool. That's pretty tight. And the gib is not going anywhere. See that? Nice. Now, let's just see what happens when we loosen these up. say we want to do some drilling or, yeah, stays right in there. That's cool. Great. Well, we've got over that obstacle. It's pretty hard to move that. I thought you were supposed to pull that out. Yeah, there we go. And it's just 20 years old. What do you want? Alrighty. So I feel like our y-axis is pretty well set up. So I'm not really sure how to do this. Here is the LittleMachineShop high torque tilting column drawing, which basically we're converting the base into that. It's got the bottom end of a 3900. So looking at this drawing, I think we want to install the X-axis nut and lead screw. Then slide the table on, then put the one bearing end plate on, and then the other bearing end plate on. But it's just what it looks like. So let's do that. Actually, first things first, let's deal with the gib, since we're sort of set up already. Kind of looks like there's a different pointer setup. So on the Cummins mill saddle, I guess, you have set screw, set screw, set screw, set screw, is what I'm guessing. Actually, I'm not guessing, that's how it was set up. So those are for the gibs. And then here was for the X-axis lock. And here you go, have the pointer for the scale. Over here, I think you have set screw, set screw, set screw, set screw for the gibs. That's probably your X-axis lock. It looks like they have some different configuration for the pointer for the scale, so I don't know. And I'm not really sure what, well, those also have these screws. I don't know what those go to. Anyway, I'm gonna get the gib drilled out here. And there is a considerable difference in size. That's pretty cool. It's gonna be a big help. And I think there's a front and a back, because there is a fixture slot. So I don't know. Oh yeah, it shows it in the drawing here. There's a slot on the forward side. So all right, that's right. Again, we're just gonna sock these down. Nice contact points across. All right, let's drill these up. Yep. Okay. Pretty good. All right, the gibs staying put. We're in good shape there. Of course, we're gonna have to take this back apart. Yeah, maybe not. Drop it right in there. There we go. That's probably about halfway. All right, we're gonna slide this back through. Nice. I think we're gonna have to harvest some parts off of the old unit, so let's do that. And that is the rust bearing that we're concerned with. Alrighty. Get this keyway out. Keyway's out. You think you just pop it out? Really want to set the press up for this, so and gently tap tap. All right, get that cleaned up. I'm not totally sure how this will all come together, but we're about to find out together, I guess. Still the keyway. Nice. It's a pretty happy situation. I would imagine there should be something that holds that X-axis nut in place. You know, this thing. How are those two set screws? And there are these two set screws, so that's probably it. Yeah, those are the two right there. Best way to do this is just to flip it on over. Flip this around and install this bushing. So this is the X-axis feed screw bushing, which goes on the X-axis plate, which is right here. 1655 part diagram 153. So it's right there. So that's all got to line up. I believe that that needs to line up with this so you can oil it, but I don't know. So then that. Again, I'm not super enthused about setting a press up for this. So I'm just going to try it the hillbilly way with the vise. See how that goes. Sweet. It's in line. Yeah, that doesn't even. Womp womp. Okay. Back from the hardware store. So I think there's just one little bit, and that's that oil fitting. And it's, yeah, that's just got a little spring with a ball bearing to keep the crud out, which is cool. And this is a 4mm, about the smallest socket I have, so. Just make sure that thing still works. And it does. Cool. It just dripped out of the bottom. So I think we're in good shape. Picking our next step here, install the chip tray. That might be a problem. While that stand was perfect for this, it is too small for the little machine shop bed. I think I'm gonna have to do the old temporary solution for the time being. Use an angle I can just catch. Really nice if I just catch 2 of these. Just can. They'll look awful goofy, but you know, sometimes that's what you gotta do. All right, we're gonna have a slightly angular milling machine until I get a plate. Next on the list is this torsion bar, torsion spring Z-axis assist. All right, it's the next day. I think the last step here is to install the LittleMachineShop economy air spring kit, and that just assists the head moving up and down the Z-axis. So this is the torsion spring head assist. I mean, it's just a spring with a lever arm, and depending on where you are in that range of the lever arm, it is more effective or less effective. So apparently they're inconsistent and they can drop, and it's just a super popular upgrade to install that air column. So anyway, we'll get that one done. Pretty well thought out instructions here. We just inventory the parts. We're all good there. And it does point out what tools you need. Allen wrenches. I don't know. It's kind of nice to have that stuff laid out for you. So step 1, remove cover from column, drill a hole 15 inches below the top of the column casting centered in the back of the column using a 9mm letter T or a 23/64 drill bit. I'm gonna get back here, so I guess we're gonna spin this sucker around. All right, so I guess 15 inches down. Machinist square, of course. 99.95. So I think we're good with 50. If anybody tells you that metric system is worse than imperial, don't listen to that person. Beautiful, nice and soft. Cut very easy. That's a 2364. So if I'm feeling like a gentleman, we'll give it a little chamfer. Step 3, drill and tap 2 M6 holes into the top of the spindle housing. Mount casting, position as shown on the air spring mounting hole drawing at the end of this document. Air spring mounting hole drawing, the end of this document. Air spring mounting hole drawing. Perfect. Easy enough, 18 millimeters off the way, so we'll do that. Mark that first. So we're just gonna get this, I'm assuming we're gonna want that out. I feel like that's a pretty safe assumption here. Boy, there is no great way of doing that except for lowering the Z-axis, which seems kind of like more effort at this point. Cool. Does that all look about right? Got a gib on this side. Oh no, that's right. Here we go. Motor. All right. It's 100. We kind of knew that already. I guess that was a different part, so we'll go 50. And that's pretty close. All right. So off of that, we want to go 60, so split the middle. So 30 millimeters off of the center line. And the intersection of those two marks will be where we need to drill. Perfect. That's a lot thicker than I thought it was. You got the gear wrench kit here. Got this in the Blue Point, the old Blue Point set. And I gotta tell you, I'm biased towards this one. Super handy. All right, so we need a 5x1. Is that even a thing? I'm sorry, 6x1. It was a 5 millimeter drill bit. What a good idea. Hey, this gear wrench set, this is the type of environment that this thing really stands out in. All right, step number 4, drill and tap 1 M6 hole into the front of the column casting. Position as shown on the Z-axis stop mounting hole, drawing at the end of this document. So that's up here. So I don't know if I could drop this column enough to drill that. Maybe if I take this off, just coming off anyway, I can lower the column enough. But I don't know what kind of force this, I mean, I guess I am kind of holding it by hand there. So they call this a calculated risk. Oh, this, yeah, that's fine. All right, with that done, ooh. Is there enough room for me to drill that? Thinking probably there is. Should be cool. Hey, buddy. I'll come in the shop. Come on in the garage, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you're the coolest. Alrighty. Cover up the motor. With step 4 done, step 5, we're just setting up sort of a clevis eye. So it says assemble. All right. So we got the M8, the nut. So step 6, put a M10 nut on each end of the head support shaft. I guess this is it. Raspberry dish, M10. Step 7, put the air spring lower mount on one end of the head support shaft and the air spring upper mount on the other end. Okay. Remove the cap screw and plastic bushing that limits the upward travel of the Z axis. And that was this guy from the machine on the column. All right, so step 10 and 11 are over at the machines. Move the head so the top is flush with the top of the column. Ooh. All right. Remove the 2 flat head screws securing the rack and remove the rack. Old rack. Out of there. Feed the new long track into this column from the top. All right, well, it's usually going from the bottom just fine. So, the rack is about here. Yeah, that seems about right. You want to see something funny? Oh man, there's all sorts of stuff going on. A lot of gear parts in there. Wow. Carnage. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in there. I should probably dig that stuff out. But I think I can take the head off. I should probably do that. All right. Okay, about to lose the gib. Right on the instructions, perfect. I think I'm just gonna flip this thing upside down and see what rattles out. That was the majority of it. ultimately I'm probably gonna rebuild the head with the upgraded bearings, so we'll let this one be for the time being. Okay, back to where we were half an hour ago. Flush with the top. Put the air spring assembly into the column. Okay. Kind of just rocking it back and forth till I see it. Oh yeah. And then whoop, right off. M8 nut and washer. Step 17, attach air spring mounting block to the top of the spindle housing. Mount with two M6 16 socket cap screws. I do feel like there's a little angularity here, which I bet you if we pivoted that, sure, best way to do this. Look at that. Yeah, that straightened everything up. You can see that now. That's much better. Yeah, that was my bad. I was just looking at it from one plane. Alrighty, it says, man, that is really awesome. What's going on here? Definitely hitting something. Oh. And I failed to remove the thing that I'm replacing, so. Man, that is just absolutely brilliant. Ooh-wee, that's awesome. All right, so I was kind of assuming this was the stop, the new stop, but versus that's got a nice countersunk relief for this head. Just look at the instructions real quick. Oddly enough, that's not even in the kit. Nobody from LittleMachineShop will probably ever watch this, but if you do, that's not in the, that was sent with the hardware package. You guys don't seem to make a ton of mistakes, so I was just curious. I mean, it's extra part. Hey, I'm not complaining. I was just curious. Man, that is, also, if you're from LittleMachineShop, this is awesome. I can't wait till you get this, the solid column. I can't wait to put that on and make this thing minty. My wife has just indicated lunch is ready. It's an awesome lunch, so I'm gonna have to leave you for a bit. You got a lot more travel. Anybody on the fence about this whole situation, that was money well spent. All right, so I bought this pedestal for the mill. And it does fit my old milling machine base, but the new, larger LittleMachineShop base does not fit. So I've got to modify it. I've got a few ideas how to modify it, but they all require a milling machine. So I'm just going to try to get this thing kind of like, I don't know, sort of mounted. Boy, that chrome socket really earned its keep today. I don't have a deep impact, so judge me if you will. All right, we're back. It's a couple weeks later, at least. Might be a month later. I've yet to start this mill. Ordered up some parts. The LittleMachineShop. I can't even remember the name of it. It was like bits and pieces or something. Improvements, but it had 3 of these handles. So I'm just going to install one on the X-axis. See how this goes. Pull that back. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's tight. And that is not. So that's great. So, LittleMachineShop, part 2625, self-locking gibs screws. And so far as I can tell, there's a little bit of Loctite or something. A little bit of work holding here. All right, we're not going to tram this mill. We're not going to get too crazy, mostly because I've only trammed a mill a couple times in my life. Last time was like 6 years ago. I just want to do a little reading before I make myself look like a complete idiot on the internet. So we got the 196A alignment tool. I'm just going to set this up real quick out of the spindle and probably take a pass on the face of the jaw, and then I'll come down and do the rim or the top of the back jaw as well. And I'll just do a rough check to make sure we're not going to be listing as we mill. And so long as that's within, I don't even know, 10 thousandths, I'm just going to run it. It's like a little bit of aluminum to mill, and it's not important. It just needs to be cut back. So kind of a simple fella, and these setting these dial indicator tools up can be a bit of a mind-bending experience. Again, if you've ever played with one of these, you know what I'm talking about. Man, this got a lot of shake on it. On a positive bit of news, my lovely wife got me a multi-process welder for Christmas, so I'll be able to reinforce this so it doesn't shake, rattle, and roll quite so bad. Super pumped about that. Alrighty. So starting at 100. Nine thousandths. That did like kind of, let's tighten this up a little bit. I feel like it was locking somewhat. Also, there's no spindle lock necessarily. I don't know what that's doing. Maybe there's an Allen wrench of the right persuasion that I could stick in there just to get me through this. Let's go left and right, just did right to left and had about everything possibly wrong that you could when you're doing this. All right, we're at 4 thousandths, so it's good enough for me. For right now anyway. Obviously not as a general statement, that's not correct, but just for today. Hopefully Keith Fenner never sees this. All right, we're at 0 and we're going to bring it in 100 thousandths. So if you don't know, every one of these little hash marks is 1 thousandths, which is, I've heard, roughly the thickness of one sheet of paper. I've never measured any of your papers, so I don't know, but that's what I've been told. Ten thousandths out again, more like 11 or 12, but hey. So we're gonna run this. I'm gonna do my little test machine and see if this thing works or not. So wish me luck. A lot of junk in that gearbox. I really hope this thing works. Sweet. We're milling. That's a good feeling. Did a little bit of slotting. Oh man, this is awesome. My at-home carbide burr is gonna be a real sad fella here. This makes me so happy.
Well, folks, real quick look ahead for the plans for this massive milling machine. So far as upgrades, I've been checking LittleMachineShop's website daily for the solid column conversion castings to become available. After a few hours running this thing, I've definitely been romancing their power feed kits, so maybe that's coming down the pike. More powerful milling head with a power tap function might be nice. And I don't know, sky's the limit with this little guy. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the project. Before you head out, feel free to subscribe, make a comment, or give us a like. And until next time, have a great day.